Hello everyone, welcome to your online science class. Today we will study chapter 2 nutrition in animals. So from the previous chapter nutrition in plants, we already know that animals fall in the category of heterotrophs. They depend on different animals or plants for their nutrition or energy process. Nutrition being a very important process, the type of feeding habit that the animal follows helps us in understanding the type of digestive system they may have, which will ensure proper nutrition to that specific animal. So, here is a list of different feeding habits for different animals which is being discussed. Like for snail and ant, the food they feed on is different: leaves, fungi, and algae. Ants feed on insects, weeds, and wheat. But the mode of feeding is same for them, that is chewing. For eagle, which feeds on the flesh of different animals, swallowing is the method. For hummingbird, lice, mosquito, and butterfly, the mode is same, that is sucking. The hummingbirds and butterflies they feed on the nectar, whereas lices and mosquito they feed on the blood of the specific organism. Houseflies feeds on the semi-digested food, and the mode they follow is siphoning. Now, for various processes which are involved in the utilization of food, there are the specific steps which is being followed. Now, this is specifically mentioned for human beings, but these steps are something which will be applicable to all type of organisms whosoever is having a nutrition process in their body. Ingestion, where the food intake will be considered, how the food is taken in the body. Digestion, it is the process of breakdown where the complex components is broken down into the simpler substance. If you look at the diagram, if the beaded chain is a complex substance, so you need the beads. What you need to do is you need to break down the whole beaded chain. In case of digestion, it is two types: physical and chemical. Physical talks about the simple chewing and the grinding of food which is done in the buccal cavity, and the chemical method talks about the addition of digestive juices so as to decompose the chemical structure of the substance which is being eaten. Absorption is a process where the digested food is passed through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream. Specifically, bloodstream absorption has to take place so that it can be utilized as energy by the different body parts. Assimilation, where the absorbed food is taken by the body cells and used for energy, growth, and repair. After that, last process is digestion, where the removal of the undigested, unwanted food will be done. Now, for digestion in human beings, we have some specific points. The human beings have an alimentary canal or digestive tract, which is a muscular tube, and whatever parts we have, everything, the various compartments, they are present just around this alimentary canal, or either they are a part of this alimentary canal directly. So buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, they are all the compartments present, and they end in rectum, which is the last part from which the last opening is present, that is anus. Mouth is the first opening of the alimentary canal and anus is the end opening. The glands which helps in the digestion are salivary gland, liver, and pancreas, which helps with their chemical secretion for digestion process. Now, digestive system is a combination of alimentary canal and the associated glands. So now let's get into the diagram of the digestive system. So digestive system starts from mouth or buccal cavity, then it goes to pharynx. So from pharynx, like it is the common passage for air and food. So air goes to the trachea, then to the lungs, whereas the food goes to the esophagus, to a J-shaped organ named as stomach. Now digestion starts from mouth itself, some part of it, and then other remaining part is done in stomach. Again, the food is partially digested. Then for complete digestion, it goes to the small intestine. So small intestine gets the releases from liver, pancreas, and the intestinal juices itself. After complete digestion, the digested food is being absorbed into the bloodstream, whereas the unwanted or remaining food material is given to the large intestine for absorption of some important nutrient, and then final excretion through rectum, final excretion through anus, where the fecal matter will stay for some time in the rectum. So that's how the digestive system looks, and that's the positioning of digestive systems, different organ in human body. Now let's get into the details of how digestion process is taking place and what are the different parts of the alimentary canals involved. First part that we have in the alimentary canal is buccal cavity, and buccal cavity itself is divided into subsegments. So the first segment is teeth. Now in case of human beings, we have two types of teeth set. One is milk teeth, which actually grows during the infancy period, and then they fall off at the age of around 6 to 8 years, and then comes a final permanent teeth which stays throughout the life until and unless due to some disease or old age it falls off. So the permanent teeth that we have a proper number of it. Like in case of human beings, they have 32 teeth, 16 in the upper jaw, 16 in the lower jaw. So in case of one jaw, it has right and left part. So there are different types of teeth that we have. So we have 4 specific types, like incisors, canines, and premolars and molars. So the specific number of incisors, canines, premolars and molars is there, and there is this formula which is known as teeth formula. So we have ICPM 2123 as the teeth formula for left side or the right side of one jaw. So the total becomes 16 for upper jaw and same for the lower jaw here. After that, here let's talk about the different functions of these teeth. Incisors are used for cutting and biting. The total number is 4 in lower jaw, 4 in upper jaw, making the total of 8. Canines used for piercing and tearing, 2 and 2, the total becomes 4. Premolars and molars, which does the heavy work in case of teeth functioning. Chewing and grinding process is done. The number is 4 and 6 in one jaw, making the total of 20 for both the jaws. So in case of canines, these are more modified and advanced versions are present in case of carnivorous animals, because they are feeding directly on different animals. So canines are used for piercing and tearing purpose. Next we have tooth decay, something which happens if proper care for tooth health is not taken place. So bacteria which is present in the mouth, it may act on the remaining food particles in the teeth and produce acids which will damage the tooth, causing tooth decay. So it actually corrodes the layer of enamel also, and if it is not treated, it may lead to severe toothache and in some cases tooth loss as well. So there are different ways by which you can protect it, by using a datun, brushing of teeth twice a day, using dental floss, rinsing of mouth after every meal. These are some activities which you can do so as to prevent tooth decay. The second half of the mouth we have is tongue, which is a fleshy organ, and this fleshy organ is attached at the back floor of the mouth, and it can move in all directions. So the functions that it has is, it is used for talking, it mixes saliva with the food, it helps in swallowing and detects different taste. So mixing of saliva is also very important function, which we will discuss in a little detail later. And the different taste buds here can be seen in the diagram, like sweet, salty, sour and bitter. These are the different flavors which the tongue identifies, and the different sides of these flavors is also shown. So why saliva is important? Let's just have this activity to show its importance. Now here we have to take 2 test tubes, one A and B. So in A test tube you just have to use boiled rice, and in B test tube you have to use a teaspoon of boiled rice which was chewed for some time. So after that water is added, a solution of these is made, and then to this solution added. So as we know from 6th standard also, that iodine is used for the detection of starch in any substance. We will observe that in test tube A the color turns back to black, whereas in test tube B it does not show any color. So the conclusion which we can make is, because only boiled rice was taken in test tube A, so it showed the starch test because starch was still there, whereas in case of test tube B, as chewing was done, that's why the starch got converted into sugars, and that's why the blue black color did not occur. Now, how digestion takes place in case of alimentary canal. So let's get into the specifics of it, the part where the different sites are present, the secretion, and the different functions. So in case of buccal cavity, salivary gland is present, which secretes saliva, which helps in the conversion of starch into simple sugar like maltose. Esophagus is it is the muscular tube structure which just helps in the process of pushing the food downward towards stomach in a peristaltic movement. Stomach is a thick walled J-shaped organ which is also the widest part of alimentary canal. It gets its release from the inner lining of stomach. The stomach gets the release of mucus, hydrochloric acid, HCl, and last, digestive juices. So mucus functions as a protective lining of stomach. Why it needs protection? Because hydrochloric acid is being released for the purpose of killing the bacteria and creating an acidic medium. Now, why this acidic medium is needed is because the digestive juices are inactive and they need to become active in the presence of hydrochloric acid. So digestive juices actually works on the conversion of protein into simple substances. After this, the food goes to the small intestine, which is a site of complete digestion, and that is why it receives the secretions from different glands. So first, small intestine is a highly coiled structure with the length of 7.5 meter length, as in the name is small but the length is too long. The liver, it receives the secretion from liver, which has a reddish brown color. Position is on the right side of the upper abdominal region, largest gland of the body. It releases the bile juices which is being produced by the gallbladder and which is present in the liver. This bile juice is used for digestion of fats. After that comes pancreas. Now pancreas is a cream colored leafy appearing organ which is positioned just below the stomach. It releases pancreatic juices which again works on the conversion of carbohydrate, fats and protein to simple forms. So finally comes the last secretion which occurs from the small intestine itself. It releases intestinal juices which helps in the complete digestion of all components. Carbohydrates get converted to glucose, proteins to amino acids and fats to fatty acids and glycerols. Now you can see carbohydrates got converted to glucose. Like this is the part where glucose will directly get absorbed to the bloodstream, and you may connect it with the fact that why glucose drinks are considered as an instant source of energy, because they do not need any type of digestion. They are already in the simplest form, ready to be absorbed by the bloodstream so as to provide energy as soon as possible. Now last step of the alimentary canal, where large intestine comes, and it is wider than the small intestine, whereas the length is small. It is just 1.5 meter long. So no digestion takes place here, so no secretion will be there, and just the absorption of water and salts which are necessary for the body, that is being done in this part. After that, the remaining waste is passed on into the rectum, where in the form of semi-solid feces it is accumulated, and till you get a sensation of excreting the stool, and then it goes to the external environment through anus. So this is the basic digestion. After that comes absorption process which takes place in small intestine. So small intestine has small projections, finger-like projections, so as to increase the surface area for absorption. Now if you can look at the flowchart being, so villi passes the digested food to the blood vessels, and the blood vessels passes it to the different organs of the body for the process of assimilation. Now in assimilation, which takes place in cells, like for example glucose is used to produce energy, respiration takes place, glucose is then reacted with oxygen so as to produce carbon dioxide, water and energy. Also in some cases the amino acids are utilized by the different cells so as to make proteins of their own choice. Next comes diarrhea. Now this is something which happens when the alimentary canal misfunctions. Okay, so in this case watery stool is frequently passed. The causes can be infection, food poisoning or indigestion, and it should not be neglected, as sometimes it may lead to excessive loss of water and salt from the body. So a person with diarrhea should be given ORS, oral rehydration solution, something which you learned how to make in class 6th by mixing pinch of salt and sugar in boiled and cooled water. Now after that comes the second important topic of this chapter, that is the digestive system in case of ruminants. So the basic structure of digestive system remains same. They also have esophagus, they also have stomach, small intestine. The basic structure remains same. The only difference arises from the point that the cattle or the ruminants, they utilize the cellulose energy also. Like cellulose is a type of complex carbohydrate. In human beings we do not have any chemical to utilize its energy to convert it into glucose, but in case of ruminants they have those enzymes. So in ruminants, they are the animals which chew the cud. Example is cattle, sheep, deer. Food is swallowed and it is stored in a rumen part of stomach. So this storage is important because here partial digestion of food take place, which actually helps in the digestion of cellulose. Now later this cud is actually something which is formed by just swallowed food. So the food from the rumen is again brought back into the mouth for proper chewing, and the same digestion process takes place the way it takes place in case of humans. So here in case of some pseudo ruminants, they can have a cecum or a sac-like structure present between esophagus and small intestine, which may also have cellulose digesting bacteria. So the example of such pseudo ruminants is horses and rabbits. So that's how the digestive system of ruminants work. Just this exception is there which makes them different to study. Now next we have feeding and digestion in case of amoeba. It is a unicellular organism which can be easily found in pond water, and the speciality is that it constantly keeps on changing its shape and position. So it has a cell membrane, nucleus and vacuoles which is present in the cytoplasm. So same steps like human being is being followed here. Amoeba senses the food, pushes pseudopodia out. Pseudo here means, pseudo means false and podia means feet. So false feet out, it grabs and engulfs it by forming a food vacuole. So we can see that here this false feet is actually helping it to engulf the food as well as in movement of the organism as well. So after this, the food vacuole gets the digestive juices released and break the food into simpler substances. Digested food is then absorbed, and then the absorbed substances are used for growth, maintenance and whatever energy requirements they have. And later on, finally the undigested or the unwanted material is expelled out through the vacuole. So that is all. With this we are done with the explanation of the chapter. I hope you have enjoyed the class. Your doubts and queries are always welcomed. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.